On TikTok, there's so many youngster millionaires. Who's real and who's faking it? You have to decide for yourself. Now today I will share with you my numbers, and most likely these numbers are very conservative. In any case, if you're curious, continue watching. Hi guys, welcome back. I hope that this video inspires you positively, and more importantly, hopefully gives you a different way to look at your own money. You know, usually you talk about money in terms of salary, correct? But this video we're talking about net worth, which is what the rich talk in terms of their own monies. In Singapore, there are actually more than 207,000 millionaires really. Let me pull this article up for you to see. You realize that this article is as of 2019, and if property prices have appreciated, equity markets have appreciated in 2020, there are actually more millionaires right now than ever. Now, this video, hopefully you can take a thing or two on how you can, really structure your own monies, because I'll be giving my own numbers for you, and hopefully you can pick a thing or two to change and modify and make your future a little bit better. Now, if you stay to the end of the video, I'll be sharing with you how much cash I'm holding right now, because this gives you a very important message. That is my view of where the equity markets are, as well as where the property markets are. So if you're interested, stay on for it. But let's start with property first. And if you've been a fan of this channel, you do know that I own two properties right now. One is a HDB, and one is this condo which I'm staying right now. So let's put out the first part, HDB. 3-room flat which I bought, if I'm not wrong, in 2011 April. So that current worth is about $350,000 fully paid as of right now. The second is this condo, 1.25 million, of which there's an outstanding loan of about 800,000. Now, if we factor in the total combination of this 3-room flat as well as this condo, the total is 1.6 million. And if we reduce the loan of 800,000, the total worth is about 800,000. But again, I share with my wife, so my half is about $400,000. Now, if we try to measure up in terms of a ratio, how much is the property worth in terms of my net worth, that ratio is about 25 to 40%, depending on what kind of numbers I use as a denominator. But I'll confidently say that this is a number well below most of my private clients that I've seen. I have a recent friend that bought a property, a new launch, and because of that property purchase, her numbers are looking very lopsided. A lot of net worth is going to be held in property itself, with down payments as well as ongoing payments coming in the next few years. Property, after all, is very illiquid, and in my opinion, currently the supply and demand dynamics is not that exciting in a lot of ways. I've even a private channel sharing that I have as to where I believe property market, the direction is. So if you're keen, look for links below for that video. Now, up next is my CPF savings, and let me show you the exact numbers. This over here gives a good summary. And what you can infer over there, I actually don't have too much, correct? I'm age 37, and if you're of the same age, you definitely have a lot more if you're in the employed space. But I'm self-employed, which means I actually voluntarily contribute to CPF. And in my earlier years, I actually did not contribute too much to CPF. I prioritized holding on to cash and doing investments with it. Now, a few key takeaways that you can learn from this is, if you don't need your CPF OA amounts, you can actually transfer it to CPF SA. And that's actually what I've done. The 11,000 plus you've seen inside there is actually from last year's contribution. So I'll also be moving it to CPF SA for higher interest. If you don't already know, CPF SA pays you 4% interest versus the CPF OA of 2.5%. So if you have idling amounts, do move it there also. So in total, I'll only be considering the CPF OA and CPF SA in terms of my net worth, because MediSave account is meant for hospital use, for insurance use. So in total, these two accounts add on about 70,000 to my net worth. Now, the total contributor is my SRS account. And what you can see over there is that I've actually since 2010 contributed to my SRS. So pat on the back, not too bad in a lot of ways. I actually prioritize contributing to SRS for my tax relief versus CPF, unless I've really surplus in cash, as well as if I really want to drive home more tax relief. So the total contributions which I've circled over there is about $151,000 in terms of contributions. And I'll only be using that numbers to be very conservative. The amount invested and the current value is actually way higher than that. But let's take $150,000 as the contributor to my net worth itself. The main purpose is to show you that I actually contribute to SRS. It's something that I mentioned favorably. It's something that I actually put my monies towards to get tax relief. So if you're earning, income and you have actually significant taxes, I'll also introduce you to contribute to your SRS itself. And I have actually previous tutorials that I believe can help you understand a bit further on this topic. Now, so your question may be what I have invested in terms of the SRS. I can share with you as a rough guide. I've invested into gold ETF, I've invested into stocks, I've invested into funds. So these three have mobilized most of my SRS. There's only a couple of hundred remaining over there. So again, don't keep monies inside SRS accounts. They pay you next to nothing in terms of interest. Since it's going to crystallize only at age 62, might as well get it invested, and maybe invested aggressively, since you have a long runway to do things. So hopefully that explains some strategies for SRS investing. Now up next is my stock holdings in CDP account. Now this of course does not factor in those that are in custodian accounts. I've actually accounts in Tiger Brokers. I have links below if you haven't signed up for Tiger Brokers. It's actually not too bad a platform. There are a lot of analytical tools that I'm realizing that they can provide to investors also. So this is actually what is held inside my CDP account. And as you can see over there, the current value is about $270,000+. I've actually been trimming it a little bit. That's a little bit of sensing I can share with you. There are stocks, as you can see over there in the shaded blue. There are REITs involved, there's ETFs involved also. So this is my current stock portfolio. I won't be giving exact details because I always believe it's not beneficial to look at exact numbers because it does not replicate what you should be investing right now. But this contributes about $270,000 to my net worth. Now up next are my portfolios that I actually share with my wife for different investment purposes. Now I actually run portfolios for private clients in IFAs and Flip Securities. So I actually do open these portfolios myself, actually put my monies to where my mouth is. But to show the exact portfolio does not make any meaning, I just want to put numbers to things as well as how it actually contributes to my net worth. So this is one example of a portfolio I share with my wife. And what you can see over there is the valuation of it is about $106,000. But if I sum up the various portfolios together and divide it by 2, I realize the number is about $100,000 that is worth to me. So I'll add that number, $100,000, to my net worth itself. Now just to give a quick update, in the previous video I've actually shared I invest regular savings of about $15,000 a month into a particular Chinese fund. But as valuations have ran up, I've actually changed that approach drastically. That was actually started as of March. So as of right now, there's no need for me to put in big amounts. Valuations are not cheap. I'm actually looking at accumulate cash, which again, I'll touch on towards the end of the video. Now since you sit here, let me invite you to press on thumbs up so that more people can see valuable content like this. And again, inviting you to press on subscribe. Join our community, become more financially savvy. Now we're releasing videos on my perspective as to where the stock market is in terms of valuations coming out in the next few weeks. So do subscribe so that you get notified when those videos are actually released. Now the next part is actually what I have in terms of cash, correct? And if you don't already know, there's this thing called SG Findex, which came on, end of 2020. So SG Findex actually lets you round up all your various cash accounts very quickly. And let me show you a snapshot of what I actually have. This actually shows the number, more than 300,000 in terms of what I have. I actually blocked out the exact number. I wanted to feel a bit more secure. So I actually try to give an indication, it's about 300,000, but I also want to do adjustments to things. Now, the first part I'd like to share with you is the SG Findex seems to have some limitations. This is as of view as of 31st December 2020. So the numbers have changed a little bit also. I don't know how often they refresh, or do we have an input to get it refreshed on the spot? I don't know about it yet. It's still pretty new a platform. But as of now, the sum up of what I have in a few banks are more than 300,000. But also, they include joint account, which should not be into this equation itself. I have various joint accounts with my family members. So I would like to do some adjustments. I think the amount that is belonging to me is about 200,000. So that's a number I'd like to put into the figures itself. 200,000 of my net worth is actually held in cash. Now this comes to the most important part of this video. What is the moral story? What I'm seeing in terms of markets now is things are actually not as cheap, definitely as of March comparatively. US equities are likely expensive. Property markets, not very exciting in a lot of ways. If I felt it was exciting, I'll be paying the ABSD with this amount, combine with my wife's cash, and we can actually buy a third property. But I think that's actually quite silly. I've actually had questions on this community asking, is it worth it to pay 12% ABSD? Absolutely no, it doesn't make sense at all from an investment point of view. It's like a sales charge of 12%. You take years to break even. So I don't see a lot of opportunities in property markets. I see selected opportunities in terms of the equity markets. That's why I'm holding quite a bit of cash, which is about 15 to 20% of my net worth. Now, if you're thinking at this juncture, are you holding too much cash? Or are you invested too much and holding too little cash? Maybe this 15 to 20% is a good food for thought for you. Now, if you're thinking what is Josh going to do in 2021, let me share with you something by Mr. Elon Musk. He recently became the world's richest man, highest in terms of net worth. His immediate reaction was, how strange. And the next reaction was, back to work. Exactly, that's my thought. This number for net worth is ultimately still a number. I have to get back to work in a lot of ways. This number is just going to help me in terms of my own retirement, But nonetheless, it does not also equate to happiness. So net worth and happiness are also different in a lot of ways. But you've seen the results that I can deliver. You've seen my own approach to finances. If you like this approach, you can always contact me via this video. I'll leave links below also. And with that, we can always have a personal one-to-one chat. With that, I'll sign off. Take care and goodbye.